Hi, I wanted to go through how I recreated the guitars on a track by Pig called The Sick. This was part of IXY Music Community Challenge to recreate a song or part of a song that we wanted to recreate. So the song is from 1994-95. Pig is Raymond Watts' project. He also worked with KMFDM. So I looked at some of the guitar production and synth production for the rest of the song of the era. He was likely playing a Les Paul style guitar. So on some of the tracks, I used my Dean Evo to get that sort of tone, the thicker body. And I used a Strat with a nice active humbucker pickup for the lead guitars and the more prominent rhythm guitars. So they were probably also using JMP 800, which is a sort of sans amp created by Marshall. It's all emulations. It would have been a rack mount at the time. I'm using a plug-in emulator made by Nembrini. That's pretty faithful to the original. And yeah, so I'll play a minute of the song to give an idea of where I was heading. So I used stem separation, which is a nice feature in Logic. It's actually not on this machine because I have an Intel and whatever. It's not worth kind of getting into. Point is, I ran it through Logic on another machine and I stem separated it, and it gave me this guitar track. So you can hear that the guitars are rather well isolated. The next thing I needed to do, because I'm not great at transcription, is particularly with distorted stuff, I find it very challenging. I used a feature in Logic called flex editing. So I analyzed the audio for flex editing. I'm not going to do it now because when I do it, I think it's because I pulled this track in fresh. It's set to 120 BPM. This song is 136.7. Whatever. It wreaks havoc and it sounds crazy after. But you can analyze the audio for flex editing, and then you turn on this thing called flex. And then after that's been created, you have this option highlighted, create MIDI track from flex pitch data. And that MIDI track is here. And I put it through a little guitar emulator just for fun. I'm using Logic's sampler, multi-sampler, and I'm using some settings from a From Mars collection to make it sort of sound like a guitar. It actually sounds pretty crunchy, but crusty. Anyway, this sounds bad, but it does give off give a lot of information. Most crucially, I think, the C sharp. This is going to be the lowest note basically throughout the whole song. And you can kind of check. Everything sort of tends to resolve from and goes back to it. There's sustained chords in the song, and yeah, you can glean a lot of information, but this first main riff, unfortunately, when it transcribed it, it read it as the higher C sharp note. So I'm going to just and I eventually tested it against real guitars, and as I was playing it, I realized it was kind of going 032, 021, 010. There are other parts of the song where there are sustained chords, and again, this flex pitch data track gives us a lot of hints as to where we're kind of going. Let's get to the... That's a part that's kind of going. So that's how I kind of approached transcribing it. Took a little bit of time, but there's a lot of good information in this flex data. It does also include a lot of overtones, so there's some stuff that's misleading, but you can kind of root through it and get a lot of information and get closer and closer to that transcription, particularly when things haven't been done and there are no tabs available online. Some of this music's a little bit, I guess, more obscure, or at least nobody's put the time in on Ultimate Guitar to pick through it and do the transcription of the song. So yeah, so here's the original guitars. And here are my recreations. I guess just some other notes on like how I'm recording my guitars. I use a J48 made by Radial. It's a DI, it's an active DI, active pickups. I'm very active. Point is, I just have always kind of liked that sound. And I like having the DI because it is like the cleanest, most MIDI-ish type of way to record guitars, because if you know, you can kind of see the measure of the guitar as a waveform, but it's really hard to figure out in this waveform exactly when attacks are happening. And you know, when you're trying to edit and try and fix guitars, recording it as a DI signal has always made much more sense to me, because I'm going to either reamp it later after I fix it, or just use an emulator like I did in this song. And by reamping it, I mean I'm sending it back out of my interface into an amplifier and recording that amplified signal. I use another Radial product called Xamp. The main thing to keep in mind is that when you're going out of your interface, it's going to be usually a balanced line, and you need to take that balanced signal and convert it down to an instrument level signal. Just advice before you record a DI guitar and then send it back through your amp and potentially mess up your amplifier by sending too much signal to it, or sending a signal it's not expecting. Yeah. What else is nice about a DI? Oh, and you can do the same thing with the flex data, which is important to me because I have why can't I open up? There we go. You can do the same flex data information. So if you've recorded a guitar part that maybe you don't remember exactly how you played, you can grab the flex data. I don't think it's showing you. It takes a minute to analyze the transients. And by using that same process of turning on the flex data for the DI track, we can grab the MIDI information and have a nice transcription of our DI tracks, which is very helpful in songs that I have long since forgotten how to play. So yeah, that's why I use DIs, and that's a wrap on this. All right. thanks for checking out the channel.